Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and I am finally able to sit down and relax on this fine Christmassy Eve and bring you some Shadow Priest. Yeah, most of you guys probably know Shadow Priest has been one of my favourite classes throughout all of Mr. Pandaria. I've absolutely adored it in pretty much every single way, and I'm more than happy to sit down and play it for you. We're going to be looking at everything. It's going to look at the talents, the glyphs, and your gemming, and all that kind of stuff in this video. Then we're going to go over some basics on how to prioritize your spells in order to get some maximum DPS out of this class. Click the links on the left if you want to skip to something more relevant. Then we're going to go ahead and do a separate video where we do some gameplay and actually show all that in action, and I'll tell you all about it. So first things first, our talents. Pretty easy on the Shadow Priest, pretty easy, and thankfully we do have a little bit of choice depending on what the hell we want to do. So at level 15, it's just some CC. It's CC, right? So whatever you want to CC, Void Tendrils tends to be the most useful, I would say. It's got me out of some tricky situations, especially with some particularly bad tanks. There's something about a Void Tendrils dropping on those ads that allows you to run the fuck away that I particularly enjoy. Level 30, Body and Soul or Angelic Feather. Moving is kind of a big deal. We have, we've got some spells that we cast on the move. We've got the old Shadow Word Pain there. We've got our Shadow Word Death that we can do. But other than that, we're kind of bound to casted spells, so we don't want to be moving too much. We want to minimize that. We might refresh a couple of dots on the move, but that's about it. I like Body and Soul because I have to move. It's like, holy fuck, Body and Soul, get me the fuck out of here straight away. But there is an argument there for Angelic Feather if you want to drop them in front of you. Entirely down to you. Level 45, our first of many DPS upgrades. How jealous are you of the classes that you have absolutely limited viability when it comes to our DPS increasing talents? The Shadow Priest laugh at you intensely. Solace and Insanity has traditionally throughout all of Mr. Pandaria been the best, and it still is. It really is. That amount of damage that gets put out by your Mind Flay Insanity is just crackers, and the good thing about it is it doesn't screw up your macros. If I can get one generated I can. I've got Shadow of Death. Excellent. So when you drop that Devouring Plague and you start Mind Flaying, it actually changes to Mind Flay Insanity. See, it has a new swooshy little graphic that goes along with it as well, which is really nice as well. And it does so much damage. It's crazy. Of course, though, you do have to be standing still, and you have to take advantage of the fact that your Devouring Plague is up in order to get the benefit of Solace and Insanity. So if you're running around a hell of a lot, you might be thinking about some of the other choices. There are various fights going on in the Siege of Orgrimmar where you're running around like a lunatic. Mindbender's pretty cool, if a little boring. That's my problem with it, right? Mindbender is just going to switch our Shadow Fiend, which we usually have, to a 1 minute cooldown that does a little bit more damage. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not as good as Solace and Insanity, but neither is From Darkness Comes Light. But it's useful on the move. I struggle to argue for it. It does what it does. It's boring. It's a summoned pet that'll go and whack its face against things for a few minutes. Great, and then it comes back a minute later. But From Darkness Comes Light gives you free instant cast Mind Spikes. It's one of my favourite talents. I've got to say, of all the things that the Shadow Priest has in its arsenal, the From Darkness Comes Light is just fantastic. I think it's so much fucking fun. You get these wonderful Mind Spike procs all the time. You just tend to turn into a turret, which means that moving around ain't no big deal anymore, especially if you're throwing out a lot of vampiric touches. Bear in mind, Surge of Darkness does come from Vampiric Touch, not from Shadow of Pain. For those of you who are AoEing by just dropping Shadow of Pains everywhere, you will not see the benefit if you're not dropping Vampiric Touches on everything. But it's going to take a lot of doing to beat Solace and Insanity. Single target, not quite there. Level 60... there's so many arguments for what you should take. Usually it's down to Desperate Prayer, which instantly heals you for 30% of your total health, 2 minute cooldown. I just don't like it. I prefer Angelic Bulwark. At passive, anytime a damaging attack brings you below 30% health, you gain the Absorption Shield equal to 20% of your total health, lasting for 20 seconds. I love that it happens because I tend not to get hit by things that are going to kill me unless I fucked up. And I don't fuck up that often, So the fact that I've got this passive, which is like Tank Death or something's just gone a little bit problematic for the healers or whatever it might be, Angelic Bulwark is there to go, ooh, so I like Angelic Bulwark for that. Level 75, you've actually just got the one choice this time, especially if you're raiding Siege of Orgrimmar, and that is the Twist of Fate. There is so many ads, there is so much opportunity to have Twist of Fate proc that you want it, and you want it in your life all the goddamn time. Twist of Fate is just fantastic. It's damaging your target below 35% health. You're going to get this proc, which I'm actually not, interestingly enough, from the training dummies, which is weird because they're at 20%. Although I do know it works. I'm not getting the buff. But Twist of Fate, just obviously, you're pretty crazy if you're not DPSing things that are below 35% health anyway, right? You're a DPSer. You should be DPSing them by proxy. Therefore, this thing is just buffed on you all the goddamn time. But for whatever reason, if you are not damaging the low ads, and your raid leader is like, do not touch them Shadow Priests, you must continue DPS on the high health boss, just throw a little cheeky Shadow Word Pain out there, and that's going to be our little secret, all right? Because it's well worth it. Or if in doubt, pop a Halo, baby. Cascade and Divine Star, I flat out just don't like. Halo just has so much opportunity to work. It's great single target DPS. You don't have to worry too much about keeping it on cooldown. I know there's restrictions. If you read some websites, it's like, well, if they're together and you're doing this and that. It gives a shit. Just drop a fucking Halo because it looks totally badass. It does absolutely shit tons of damage. There you go. Nearly 300,000 damage just drops in there in a single hit on the 3 ads. And then, of course, it drops out massive healing. It's bursty. It's got a regular cooldown. It's 40 seconds, right? In most encounters, you can drop this every time there's them really scary moments. You've got a Halo waiting in the wings just to back up your healers there and drop some damage at the same time, making you just a complete badass. Let's look at your glyphs. You do have a little bit of choice here as well. This is kind of mandatory, is glyph of focus mending. Anytime you have some downtime, you don't need to do this while you're in like panic situations. What I tend to do, if I'm in some downtime period, you know, like on Lei Shen where you go and wait for things to happen, or the boss is transitioning, just throw a pair of mending on yourself, right? It's just going to fly around and do various bits of healing. And also good in panic situations is you're just helping out, whether or not you're dropping halos on people, you know, and you're just dropping your prayer of mending on people. Not going to bring you out of shadow form. Very, very cool. Glyph of Mass Dispel, not usable in all encounters, obviously. It's very rare we have to Mass Dispel, but if we do, then you want that shit to be Johnny on the money. You really want to do it. Potent enough to remove magic effects that are normally undispellable. I love this thing, okay? But again, it's situational at best. Situational at best. Glyph of Fade, I really love. I use Fade a hell of a lot, but of course on these guides and stuff, I'm doing a lot of LFR. Therefore, a lot of craziness comes in. And therefore, I want that 10% damage reduction on most occasions. I cannot guarantee that my healers inside of the LFR are actually going to do things like, you know, save me or heal me or any of that kind of stuff. So I tend to look after myself a fair bit. I want to give a big shout out to this, which I would instantly replace Glyph of Mass Dispel with if I hadn't just used it on a particular situation. If I can find it, the goddamn glyph list, I should know the names. Inner Sanctum. Spell damage taken is reduced by 6%. Not a great amount, but it's passive, all right? We've generally got our Inner Fire on anyway because we're obviously getting 10% spell power from that sumbitch. And therefore, you want your Inner Sanctum. Glyph of Inner Sanctum is just going to give 6% less spell damage. Bear in mind, it is spell damage. Doesn't include your physical. Always very cool. Minor Glyphs, doesn't really matter. Glyph of Dark Archangel just looks fantastic. And Glyph of Shadow Ravens, always cool as well. Let's talk about your gearing. You're going for a couple of haste breakpoints. I always recommend an add-on like Reforged Light. Reforged Light is Johnny on the spot, at least in Mr. Pandaria, with what is up to date and what isn't. You motherfucker. I've been queuing for that for 40 minutes. But you know what? For you guys, we'll hit that leave queue button. And just ignore me for a moment while I want to show you Garish Hellscream. That's why I'm queuing for that one. It was a 42-minute queue. We're going for haste breakpoints, which is when your dots do extra ticks, okay? Then when your dots do extra ticks. If you're not sure whether or not you're near a haste breakpoint, I've said this a couple of times, is Ask Mr. Robot is actually really cool for this because it'll check all viable options to see if you can reach those haste breakpoints. And then an in-game add-on like Reforged Light will actually organize it for you to reach those haste breakpoints. Haste breakpoints are very cool. It just means that your Shadow Word Pain and your Vampiric Touch and your Devouring Plague will get an extra tick for the same amount of casting, okay? So that cast is just giving you more bang for your buck. That adds up to a ton of extra damage. In order to do that, most of the guys are going to be gemming as much haste as humanly possible. Haste hit. General rule with your Shadow Priest guys, haste hits. You want as much haste as you can possibly get and your hit. Simple as peas. Easy fucking shit, okay? Really easy stuff. You just want to go in your haste hit and then adding a little bit of crit if you want to. So you can see there, haste, expertise haste, which is again haste hit, whatever, haste, 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 haste spirit. So you've got these haste expertise or haste spirit, depending on if it's a blue or a red slot, and it's worth picking up the set bonus. 120 intellect. Sure, I'm going to pick up 120 intellect. Why the hell wouldn't I? And therefore, you're going for as much haste as possible. So you're going to be flat out just hasting it up pretty much. All right, pretty much just hasting it up. Make sure you get your hit caps. Any gemming is fantastic. Let's say what wave bye. Obviously, in Warlords of Draenor, we're not going to have to worry about this hit cap, but I like it. I like making sure I can hit with my spells. Makes me feel like I'm cool. Right. One thing I do want to say is that our DPS is relatively simple. It is. Our single target is down to a single thing. We want to be using Devouring Plague on cooldown. So as soon as you hit those 3 Shadow Orbs, boom! Now, when I say as soon as, that is all dependent on whether or not you can actually instantly generate more. Alright, what we don't want to do is Devouring Plague. If we have Devouring Plague ready and Mind Blast ready at the same time, which is a horrible situation to be in, and hopefully you'll never be in that situation, you obviously want to cast that Devouring Plague before you Mind Blast. Having said that, while it's on cooldown, and let's do this one. So we can't use Shadow Word Death. We're actually okay to save these for a moment until that Mind Blast is ready again, as long as we're not wasting the orbs. That's the important thing, okay? As long as you're not wasting orbs, you're fine. A lot of people are like, oh, Devouring Plague, you gotta fire it off. You don't actually have to do that. As long as you're not wasting them, you're more than fine. So if you've got, let me just get another Mind Blast off the way. Obviously, our Mind Blast is what's generating these Shadow Orbs. We want to be using 3 of those on Devouring Plague. So in this situation, you might think, oh, I've got a Devouring Plague. No, I'm actually going to Vampiric Touch first, then I'm going to Devouring Plague in order to ensure that I'm getting the most bang for my buck. Because I can't waste that Shadow Orb until my next Mind Blast comes off cooldown or my Shadow Word Death. As such, Devouring Plague is generally considered #1 priority. Your Mind Blast is your next priority. Obviously, the more Shadow Orbs you generate throughout a fight, the more Devouring Plagues you're going to do. And as such, the lot more DPS you're going to do. So this is your main priority, is Mind Blast and your Devouring Plague. Get them used. If you take a Solace in Insanity, your next priority is obviously Mind Flay Insanity. So what you want to do is kind of plan your Devouring Plague, and this is where it comes in mind with thinking about whether or not you're going to waste a Shadow Orb or not, is you want to make sure that all your dots are on while you're casting that Solace in Insanity. So I've got 3 seconds left. I'm alright just to recast there. Oh, wait till we actually get the next one. As you can see, I'm planning before that Mind Blast comes back off cooldown. So there, I'm going to recast my Shadow of Pain. Then I'm going to drop the Devouring Plague. And so I can ensure I get some solid Mind Flay Insanities while most of my dots are ticking. And then when my Mind Blast comes off cooldown, happy, happy days. A little tip there for those of you who are using Solace Insanity. Let's see if I'll just get 3 Shadow Orbs again. Where's my low one? Oh, they all healed up. Well, that's a bummer. What I was going to say there is the good tip for that is once you actually activate the Mind Flay while under the effects of Solace Insanity, the Devouring Plague can wear off and you can still cast Mind Flay Insanity. So you can see a full cast, Devouring Plague's about to wear off, I can recast it there and I can still channel Mind Flay Insanity while Devouring Plague's not on. So bear in mind you can get extra ticks of your Mind Flay Insanity by doing that little thing. Keep your dots on, Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, keep your dots on. And then your filler spell is obviously normal Mind Flay. That's the good time to cast off Halo, okay? Halo is a DPS increase, but you don't want it to override things like Devouring Plague, your dots, or your Mind Blast. When you're down to normal Mind Flaying, that's when you want to cast a Halo and get that spell on cooldown, especially if you're not saving for some particular moment. You can see I did again there. Just recasting my dots before I went to Insanity, and then just before Devouring Plague wears off, get an extra couple of ticks in before I have to use that Mind Blast. Dead easy. Shadow Fiend is a DPS cooldown as and when necessary. Get an add-on that tracks your ticks of Mind Flay, guys. This is going to pick up a lot of DPS. So if you're not sure what I mean, watch my spell bar. You see these white lines? These are when my Mind Flay is actually doing damage. This allows you to do something called very heavy Mind Flay clipping. Very cool. What you'll actually do is if you need to stop your Mind Flay, so I've got this Mind Blast off cooldown and I'm Mind Flaying, I have a choice of when I actually break that Mind Flay. If I break it there, I was actually almost like by a microsecond about to get another tick of damage from that Mind Flay, which is now wasted. And that channeling time in between the white lines, it does nothing. So I could have been stood dribbling for all the matter it is. This guy's going to try to attack. Look at him targeting Swobu Swaggins. Get over yourself, son. So what you want to do is make sure you're not doing that, okay? You don't want to be wasting Mind Flay ticks if you're right next to it. So if I had this, I've got this Mind Blast on cooldown. I'm going to watch my Mind Flay and boom, I'm going to fire it off just after the tick of damage. Very, very easy, not too difficult whatsoever. When it comes to multi-targeting, between 2 and 4 targets, guys, you're going to be sticking all your dots on. Your dots are incredibly powerful. I recommend just shipping Shadow of Pain on everything, just to get your shadowy apparitions rocking and rolling, and then start Vampiric Touching everything up. Very easy to track. Try and use a control, which is a mob that's probably going to last the longest, and that way you can judge when these dots are going to run off. So you can see these dots are about to wear off. So I know that if I go down the line now, I can actually just refresh these easy as anything, and then I can Vampiric Touch along the way. But I could judge it all from my first mob. It's a very little handy multi-dotting technique. It's just to use one mob as the control. If these were all gathered together, once it gets to like 4 mobs, I'm going to fill with Mind Seer, our most boring AoE spell in the universe. I'm going to fill with Mind Seer if they were gathered up, but make sure those dots are ticking. Those are your big top priority, okay? Just keep them ticking away, and you're going to do a ton of damage. If it gets to like 5+ mobs, sure, you're just Mind Searing. You're not even thinking about it. Just mindlessly Mind Searing away. Between 2 and 4, get your multi-dotting going. Judge if things are spread around. If you have got everything dotted and you got like 4 targets up, you're just going to fill normally. Mind Blast, Devouring Plague, all that kind of shit. But get your dots ticking because they do so much damage. And please, guys, for the love of God, don't ignore too much of Vampiric Touch. Don't do it, because you can run if you just start spamming Shadow Word Pain constantly on every target, if you've got lots and lots of targets. If your Vampiric Touch is not up, you'll very quickly find that you start running into some mana issues. It can happen. It can happen. I've seen it many a time. A lot of people spamming a lot of spells. You can see very quickly your mana will start disappearing if you're just Shadow Word Pairing a lot of targets. You can run into some issues. And you don't really want to be using Dispersion, which is our big defensive cooldown, for mana regen. We don't want to be doing that whatsoever. Alright, that's your basics, guys. I'm going to jump into a raid now and show you how all this works. Thanks for sticking with me. My name's Breach. I'll see you again. Bye.